want you to imagine you own a business and you have resources to make shirts or hats. How do you decide? Anybody with a hand? How would you decide what you're going to make? Danielle.
I would what people need more. People need shirts more than they need hats.
Okay, what do people need more? Anybody else? How would you decide? Trey.
What they wear more?
What they wear more. Okay, so how are you going to decide that? Just by what you see people wearing when they walk by?
I mean, obviously everybody wears shirts, but it's only like a few people that don't wear a hat.
Okay, what they wear more, what they need. Go ahead, David.
You could ask them.
Okay, doing like a survey. Okay, Alexis.
It depends on which one is more expensive. They get hats to design, so they get shirts to design.
Okay, so if, let's say, hats are more expensive, how will you make your decision then?
Go with shirts because it's cheap.
Okay, so you're going to sell what you think more people will buy because it's cheaper. Okay, anybody else? We've heard surveys, we've heard depending on what people need or want. Anybody else? How do you think business owners make this decision? Okay, this is true. But so I get to make my own decisions. I'm a business owner and I get to decide what to produce and who gets it, right? If you go to a little shop out on the beaches and they're making hats and t-shirts, how do you think they decide where to put their production?
Oh, that's okay. They might not hats because it's the heat and you got to protect yourself from the sun.
And so they make that decision because what?
Yeah.
What are business owners trying to do, you guys? Sell. They're trying to make money. So at the end of the day, they're going to buy whatever sells. So they're going to produce that. So I said, what if people are buying more hats than t-shirts? What are you going to sell? Hats, obviously, right? We're trying to make money. What if the government bans all hats?
Sell hats.
Okay, but so what if this is what you produce and they ban this, right? Yeah, you have to make shirts because that's what people can buy because they can't buy hats because they're banned, right? So a production possibilities frontier, and this is where our notes are starting. What we're going to graph today is going to show you all the possible combos of what you could produce of two goods if you are using all available resources efficiently. So first, what would be some resources we would need for hats? And you guys can shout these out. What would be resources I would need for hats? Fabric. Alexis, you said dye. Good. Thread. What else? So now I have all the raw materials. What am I going to do with them? What are some other resources I need? Sewing machines. Good. Sewing machines. All right, what else?
The little machine that makes the print.
Good. Are you talking about like a press?
Yeah.
Like for the print on the shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard somebody else say it too. So these three, what factor of production are fabric, dye, and thread? Good. Land. These two, what are these? Sewing machine and a printing, like a press. Good. Capital. What are we still missing?
Labor.
Okay, what would labor be?
Workers.
Exactly. All right, and then I am the entrepreneur in this situation, right? So these are the resources I need, and those resources we just listed out, I have to use them efficiently. Can somebody with a hand tell me what does efficiently mean? What does it mean if I say use your resources efficiently? Alexis, what?
Use them wisely.
Yeah, use them wisely. Give me more. If I want to use all those resources efficiently.
Don't waste more than you need.
Don't waste. Yeah. I want to use all of my resources. So, if you guys have 5 hours to study for the SAT, and you spend 3 of it on Facebook, did you use your time efficiently or inefficiently?
Efficiently.
So, if you have 5 hours to study, I'm going to call it Tyler. If you have 5 hours to study, and you spend 3 on Facebook, How'd you use your time? Was it efficient or inefficient?
Inefficient.
Good, it was inefficient. Because you did not use your time wisely, you wasted your time. So, Deborah, what is the first thing I'm going to do? Title. And what should I make it? Good. PPF of t-shirts and hats. Alright, Ruben, what's the next thing I'm going to do? Alright, so I'm going to do my X as t-shirts. So where should I put that one? Here or here? Good, and what am I going to write? Good, and I'm just going to write Q of t-shirts. And then over here, Q of hats. Alright, Anna, what's the next thing I'm going to do after I've got all my labels good? Good, number the graph. So, what, and I'm going to say on you, Anna, what is the biggest number for hats? 20. So how do you think I should label this? I could go by fives. My graph will be only to here, though. So if you do by fives, your graph will still be right. It'll just be really small. So if fives is not enough, what's a smaller? 2. I could do 2. Or 3s might even work too, but let's do 2s. So I'm going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay? And Skylar, what is the biggest number for t-shirts? 50. So how do you think I should label t-shirts? Yeah, by fives. So if I did my tens, it would go to about here. It would not be wrong, it's just going to be a small graph. So I'm going to go by fives. So 5, 10. So you should have all of your labels and now all of your numbers. Alright, so now we're going to plot this the same way you would plot in a math class. So if you know what you're doing, go ahead and start plotting those numbers. So I'm going to go 0 t-shirts over up 20 hats. So this line is showing me what is the total possible combination I can make. So if I put all of my resources towards hats, how many hats can I make? 20. So that means I'm making 0 shirts. All my workers, all my materials, all my sewing machines, that all be made to hats. What if I put all my resources towards t-shirts? How many can I make? 50, yeah. So if I put no people, no machines, no material over here, I can make 50 t-shirts. So this line right here is called maximum efficiency. So that's showing me, if I'm using every resource, I'm not wasting anything. That's the total number I can make. Alright, so if I'm making less than that, let's say if I'm making 10 t-shirts per hour and 10 hats and 20 t-shirts, I could be making more, right? So what do you think this is? If I'm somewhere inside the line. Yeah, it's going to be inefficient. Inefficient. Everything, and I just picked a random point, everything in here is inefficient. So if it helps you to scribble that in, any point inside that curve is inefficient. Because if I'm making 10 hats and 20 t-shirts, I could be making 20 t-shirts and like 17 hats. Or I could be making 10 hats and 40 t-shirts. Alright, what about this point out here? What about 20 t-shirts and 20 hats and 45 t-shirts? What about this point? Can I get there? No. Why not? Why can't I make 20 hats and 45 t-shirts at the same time? Exactly. Excellent, Al. I don't have enough resources. This point is unattainable. Exactly. And there's actually going to be a question on your guys' work later that says, why is that point unattainable? Because I don't have enough resources. I simply don't have enough people, or machines, or clock. Unattainable, also, same thing is impossible. Same thing, I picked a random point. Anything out here is unattainable. Alright, so I'm going to give you something. If this has made sense to you so far, go ahead and start graphing. This example. Alright, and this one I want somebody to be an example. Does anybody want to come up here and start to graph this? I need someone to label everything and then someone to come up and graph it. Would anybody like to label? Come on, dude. You can bring it in. So what's the first thing you're going to do?
Title.
Yes, go for it. So make sure you have the same title with David. So David, bushels of what? Check out your table. Yes. So go ahead and put ppf of wheat and whatever your thing is. So you always want to make sure you have your good up there because bushels is how we measure it. So that's like that would be like pounds of this. So we're going to say bushels of wheat. So ppf of wheat and excellent automobiles. So we labeled our title. Excellent. You're going to label your axis. So in the directions on this one, I think it actually says which one they want on which axis. So make sure you read your directions. Excellent. Quantity of wheat, and then what are you going to write on the horizontal?
Quantity of
Excellent. Alright, excellent. Thank you, David. You're awesome. So, does anybody want to come up and plot? Oh, this is first. I just told you. Anybody want to come up and plot the points now that David set up our graph for us? Alright, thank you, David. So you should have at least as much as David did for you. And now if you feel comfortable, go ahead and start plotting those points. If you want to follow along with Danielle, go ahead and start copying the points she holds. And I'm going to give you guys a class point because you have been on it with the graphing. It looks really good. Excellent.